is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. A devastating situation out of Miami Gardens. A South Florida father is sharing his pain. It's after 2 of his children were killed in a horrific crash over the weekend. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench has the report.
Well, Naja, we just spoke with him nearby at his Homestead home. This may be, Naja, a difficult interview for some of you to watch. Ronald McCall agreed to speak with us about his children. 2 of them were killed in that accident. Now, McCall has been posting photographs of them on Facebook, as we see right here. This is 11-year-old Ariana McCall. He also lost his daughter, 9-year-old Azaria McCall, as well. He is overwhelmed by the loss of these precious children. It all happened Saturday night in Miami Gardens. Police say the driver was speeding in his black Kia when he struck the victim's car and it crashed into another vehicle. 5 people were killed, including McCall's children.
It means the world to me. It means everything. I love my baby. The daddy gone. I don't see him again. It's sad, man. My baby, my little baby. I can't imagine how they felt when they got in the accident, man. It's crazy, man. They don't see my babies again. I wish I was there with them. I wish my kid was here with them. I wish I was there with them, baby. Just imagine the pain they went through in that accident, man. Can't be drinking and driving, man. And it's hard to lose your babies, man. And a prayer for their mom, too, and she lost her other siblings, too.
That was Ronald McCall's reaction after police said that alcohol was a factor in this accident. The driver so far has been charged with 5 counts of vehicular homicide. Police say those charges could be upgraded once toxicology tests come back. We'll have much more on this story coming up in just an hour. In Homestead, Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
Taking a live look outside, a beautiful shot, a warm and dry day, but showers are possible sometime this week. Let's get right to next with our chief meteorologist, Ivan Cabrera.
All right, there we go. As we start a new week here, we're going to start it like we left last week and like the weekend as well. Temperatures in the upper 70s to 80 degrees. Got some changes on the way for the end of the week, but that's just going to be more humidity and a couple of isolated showers as temperatures will continue to start climbing here. Nothing on radar. We will have the potential for some isolated showers just off the breeze here, but again, this blocking high pattern, it just continues. But as we talked about last week, this will finally break down and we're going to start getting some cold fronts in here for next week. This won't impact our weekend whatsoever unless you have a 3-day weekend. President's Day coming up, a holiday for a lot of us here next Monday as we check in on temperatures pretty steady in the mid 70s, but again, we should be about 78 for daytime highs, and we're going to climb and climb into the mid 80s. There is the front on Monday. At least what it will do for us, it'll give us back temperatures for average at this time of year, get us back to some normal numbers here. The humidity is going to spike up a little bit, so those mid 80s you saw there, we're going to feel like 90 degrees, I think, by the middle part of the week. And we'll get some showers, but they're not going to be the cooling type of showers here. They're just not going to be as widespread. So here's the pattern setup: warm with plenty of sunshine tomorrow, just a few scattered clouds and some isolated showers. We'll keep that 10% rain chance, I think, in the mix. And then we turn breezy, and the winds are going to be shifting on us here by the weekend. South to southwest winds will really get temperatures up there. And then this is the next big change coming up for next week. This is for President's Day Monday, and that's when we get a cold front in here. We're not going to have to bundle up too much, but boy, the humidity's going to drop. The temperatures will do as well, and it's going to feel a little bit more like late winter as opposed to mid-spring, which is where we are headed and have been so far the last week or so. Here's next for the rain tracker. Again, pretty quiet patterns, just a couple of isolated showers here and there. Otherwise, southeast wind, eventually a south wind and a southwest wind. So we're changing the winds around, and that's going to change our temperatures and just get them even higher along with the humidity as well. Forecast for tomorrow, upper 70s to around 80. Next for the 7-day forecast. Valentine's Day is coming up. Don't forget that on Friday with temps right around 83. Rain chances at 10%. And then a breezy weekend coming up for both Saturday and Sunday. Rain chances at 10. I think we'll peak at 20 because that's when the front comes in, so we'll get a little more moisture with it, and then we'll clear things out by next Monday.
Rescue. Beachgoers are back in the water after an oily substance was spotted on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Here's a look at one person's foot after they walked along the beach. Officials in Fort Lauderdale closed the water to swimmers for a time, but we still found people swimming in the water. The Coast Guard says the water has been tested and that government agencies are prepared for future cleanups. New information on an investigation in Opa-locka that began Sunday night. Police just confirmed to us that this is now a deadly shooting investigation. It happened on Shirazad Boulevard. Police say two people were arguing, and that's when one of them took out a gun and shot at the other person. They were taken to the hospital where they died. Police say the shooter is still on the loose. CBS News Miami's Steve Majuri is going to have more on this report coming up on CBS News Miami at 5 o'clock. Now to the first 100 days of the Trump presidency. The National Treasury Employees Union has filed a new lawsuit. It is trying to prevent the Trump administration from shutting down the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's the agency created to shield consumers from bad lenders and banks. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has the report from the White House.
Thousands of federal employees returned to in-person work this Monday, but the government's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has been ordered closed. Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency posted on social media, CFPB RIP. Some Republican lawmakers applauded the move.
The CFPB has been out of control for some time. The way it's designed, I think, is unconstitutional. It has no oversight. It's been basically a reckless agency that's been allowed to go way beyond any mandate that I think was originally intended.
Congress established the Independent Watchdog Bureau in the wake of the Great Recession of 2008.
That crash was caused in large part by subprime predatory lending that happened all across the United States.
Dennis Kelleher, president of the advocacy group Better Markets, says since its creation, the CFPB has been a key ally for consumers.
In just 14 years, that agency has returned over $20 billion to more than 200 million ripped off Americans in all 50 states.
The move follows similar Trump administration actions to try and make cuts at USAID, the Agency for International Development, which helps distribute foreign aid. Friday, a federal judge blocked the administration from placing more than 2,000 staffers on administrative leave until at least February 14th. In a separate case, a federal judge hears arguments in Boston today on the administration's buyout offer presented to around 2 million federal employees. The White House says the offer still stands with a midnight deadline, while unions argue it's unlawful. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The Eagles are flying high today. The MVP and the Eagles coach spoke this morning. CBS News Miami's Danya Backus is outside the Superdome in New Orleans.
Eagles quarterback and Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts was all smiles the morning after he led his team to victory.
To be able to bring a championship back to Philadelphia means everything.
The game wasn't even close.
Intercepted, picked up by Cooper DeJean.
The Kansas City Chiefs had hoped to become the first team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Intercepted again.
But the Eagles' defense was too much for Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who had 3 turnovers and was sacked 6 times.
Ball is out.
Defense did an awesome job yesterday.
Anytime you lose a Super Bowl, it's the worst feeling in the world. They'll stick with you the rest of your career.
Eagles rookie Cooper DeJean broke the game open with an interception he ran back for a touchdown, making it even sweeter. It was his first career touchdown on his 22nd birthday, a birthday he shares with teammate Saquon Barkley.
Be able to hold that Lombardi trophy and do it on my birthday and Saquon's birthday, it's pretty crazy.
President Donald Trump became the first sitting commander-in-chief to attend the game. And Grammy winner Kendrick Lamar delivered a star-studded halftime show featuring actor Samuel L. Jackson, singer SZA, and tennis champion Serena Williams. In Philadelphia, rowdy Eagles fans lived up to their reputation, scaling a truck and set a fire in the street as they celebrated their team's Super Bowl victory. Danya Backus, CBS News, New Orleans.
The city has yet to officially announce when the Super Bowl parade will be, but it is expected to happen later this week. When we come back, I sit down with evening anchor John Dickerson just hours before the launch of CBS Evening News Plus. Stay with us. Starting today, we're going to have a full hour of the CBS Evening News. Joining us now is evening news anchor John Dickerson. John, thank you so much for being with us. What are you most excited to bring to viewers this evening with a full 60 minutes?
It's good to be with you, Naja. What are we trying to bring? Well, we're trying to bring two things. First is everything that's happening in a busy world that we think is important for people to know about, and to put it in the right perspective, so that we help people make sense of their world. The second part of that is also to put things in context, to explain not just what's happening, but why it's happening.
And that type of storytelling is more important now than ever. How have the first 2 weeks on the show been? And what do you think the additional 30 minutes will bring to the table?
Well, the first 2 weeks in the show have been great because it's allowed us to test a lot of these theories we've been working on for many months about how to think about the news, how to put things into perspective, what priorities you have to engage in when you have a limited space. The show has only been a half an hour, and a lot of things happening in the world, and how best to tell those stories.
Can you give us maybe a sneak peek of one of the stories airing this week?
Well, there are a couple of stories that are along those lines. We'll deal with the headlines. We'll deal with all of the events that surprise us on a given day. But two stories that we know are some of the deep currents underneath American and global life. The first one's one we'll talk about tonight, artificial intelligence. We hear about that in terms of developments and companies and that kind of thing. But global leaders are meeting in Paris to talk about artificial intelligence and how it might change the very way in which we live our lives. And we have an author on tonight to talk about what happens when artificial intelligence, which even the creators of it are uncertain about what it can do, what happens when it gets out of our control.
What's one thing our viewers should know about you and what you're really just trying to achieve with the Evening News Plus?
Well, I guess the thing to know about me is that I've thought about these issues and covered news for CBS and as a magazine writer for 30 years, trying to think about, and I've covered it in old-fashioned magazines like Time magazine, also a digital magazine, and also in podcasting. So basically all different kinds of media, always trying to answer the same question, which is what is the most important thing? Not necessarily the thing people are talking about that's the loudest, but what's the most important thing, how to put that in context, and how to make it useful for people. Not just pelt them with news or developments, but give them information that's useful.
John, thank you so much for being with us, and really looking forward to your show tonight.
Sure thing. Thank you.
And that's the CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami, and have a great day.